Rico Bullford, and this is Uncut News. The family of slain national cyclist Jude Bentley is enraged at the court's decision to dismiss the charge of causing death by dangerous driving against athlete killer and rum boogie Gary Best. The magistrate on Thursday upheld a no-case submission on the grounds that the prosecutor failed to establish that Best was driving dangerously, which led to the death of Bentley. Bentley's father spoke to Newsroom, calling the decision outrageous and seemingly corrupt. Although I think Mr. Bentley is putting it very lightly for a man who just watched the justice system allow a man to get away with drunkenly slaughtering his firstborn son with an SUV. Nonetheless, he explained that the magistrate ruled that the breathalyzer test used on Best was not standardized, and so the results were invalid. And according to him, the magistrate also stated that the cyclist's bicycle had no reflector lights, meaning that Best's drunk ass wouldn't have even been able to see him properly. Bentley Sr. said he will soon be meeting with his attorney to appeal the decision. Last evening, Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George halted the deportation of the 26 Haitian nationals held in state custody. This order was made 2 days after the Georgetown Magistrates Court ordered the Haitians to be deported, claiming that they violated immigration laws. The government insists that the nationals are victims of human trafficking and they also lied about where they were staying. The Haitians insist that they came here legally and would like to access legal counsel, a request that has been denied to them multiple times. The Chief Justice's order has effectively suspended the deportation until the High Court decides on the legality of the detention and planned deportation. Yesterday, police busted 3 men selling weed on Spliff Street, Church of God Road in Buxton. Of course, Buxton, of all places, would have a Spliff Street. Those arrested are a 34-year-old resident of Middlewalk, Buxton, a 27-year-old warden of Section B, Buxton, and a 35-year-old laborer of Buxton. The first suspect was found with 212 grams. The warden was found with 9.3 grams, and the laborer was found with 112 grams. Additionally, ranks discovered 226 grams of cannabis in some bushes on the southern side of Spliff Street. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2014 Toyota Premio with steering controls, TV, navigation stereo, crystal lights, mag rims, fog lamps, and much, much more. This car is almost brand new. It has less than 12,000 kilometers on it. Buy cash for $3.775 million or pay down as low as $760,000 with $74,000 monthly and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Rose Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamaha Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. High voltage early Saturday morning ignited a man's television set in Leonora. The flames burned 65-year-old Palpu Ram about his hands, feet, and abdomen as he was asleep during the initial fire. A private electrician arrived the next day and tested the voltage, which had a reading of 269 volts. When GPL arrived around midday on Saturday, technicians conducted another test, which had a reading of 259 volts. The woman said a second test conducted shortly after GPL's technicians showed a reading of 237 volts. All of these readings are above the maximum 220 volts that most consumer electronics can handle. It really makes me wonder just how many fires are actually caused by GPL. The High Court has dismissed a $50 million defamation lawsuit by Senior Magistrate Alex Moore against the DPP, Shalimar Ali Haq. The court upheld the argument that Moore's pleadings offer no reasonable basis for his claims. Additionally, the DPP called the lawsuit frivolous and vexatious. Magistrate Moore was suing Ali Haq for accusing him of being biased during the Marcus Bisram murder case. Moore now has to pay the DPP $200,000 on or before December 24th, so it looks like she's going to have a nice piece just in time for Christmas. Late last night, 56-year-old pump attendant Puran Kumar Silas drowned in a trench at Henrietta on the Essequibo coast. According to reports, he had disappeared sometime late last night after a vigorous drinking session at a nearby shop. Around 6 this morning, the man's body was discovered floating in a trench by residents of the community. Check out Cellular Plus and get 50% off this DL3 Pro with a 5.5-inch screen, 32GB storage, and 5-megapixel camera. Take advantage of this special Christmas offer and get 30-day Prime Bundle plan with your purchase. Get it now at Cellular Plus for just $12,000. The government is moving to use a portion of a US $30.4 million loan from the IDB to give the old folks one additional $20,500 pension payment. This allocation will also go to support enrollment of new beneficiaries if need be. With 59,000 beneficiaries and a budget that amounts to 1.74% of the nation's GDP, the Old Age Pension Service is the largest social program in the nation. It's now time for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 73 new cases. The total number of deaths now stands at 151. There are now 5 persons in the ICU and 705 persons in home isolation. The total number of known cases in the country is now 5,601. So, please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds, and remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Now, let's take a look at news in the region. Brazil's Petrobras is considering expanding its operations into Guyana if the regulatory environment does not improve in Brazil. Yesterday's announcement is the company's first official admission of interest in our oil industry. Petrobras executives have been asked in the past if they would be interested in this nation. However, they have consistently said they prefer to focus on oil exploration and production in northern Brazil. But exploration in northern Brazil has generated significant controversy and regulatory pressure, in part because of the presence of an extensive coral reef off the coast of Brazil and neighboring French Guiana. We are now in the height of robbery season. If I were you, I would consider getting security for the home of business. I personally recommend Sheriff Security Service. I find that they are the most professional, with well-trained armed or unarmed guards. Get some security this Christmas, people. Venezuelans go to the polls this weekend for the first National Assembly election since 2015. The Assembly is expanding to 277 seats from 167, and 14,400 candidates from 107 political organizations are taking part. But do you know who won't be running? Opposition leader Juan Guaido, who is boycotting the elections, but most opposition groups are taking part. And now for our weird news story of the day. A British man who was diagnosed with motor neuron disease in 2013 broke a Guinness World Record when he took his prototype electric wheelchair to a top speed of 66.826 miles per hour. Jason Liversidge said he teamed up 3 years ago with British design and engineering firm Herald to create an electric wheelchair designed for speed. Liversidge's first 2 test runs saw him reach top speeds of 51.3 and 52.7 miles per hour, and he increased the battery voltage for a 3rd run and reached a top speed of 66.826 miles per hour. The fastest run was enough to earn him the record for fastest speed by an electric mobility vehicle. Liversidge's record attempt raised money for the Motor Neuron Disease Association. Moving on to our Uncut News viewers poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, what do you think of the plan to build a new city down the highway? Ramlal Singh said, LOL, the rich is about to come even richer. The 1% of the rich that controls all of Guyana's wealth. Shane Isley said, building a new city is ideal. Guyana has so much land, so there's no reason why everyone should be crammed in the existing cities. Mandy Bob said, yeah, it would be good, because the location is solid. Plus, with our country being developed, natural disasters are going to be common. But my question is, are we going to be a part of it, or is it just going to be another gated community for the rich? And finally, Big Man Tyrone said, build another city on the highway, cause Georgetown done stink already. Good answers, people. But before we get to tonight's question, I have to tell you to brighten up the holiday season and decorate your homes with new stock of vinyl, carpet, rubber towel, leatherette, glassware, doily, table plastic, rugs, and roll runner easy-to-clean carpet. Available in many colors, patterns, and designs to choose from. Beat the rush and enjoy the glorious days of shopping at Ravina's and Anand's. Ravina's and Anand's have unbeatable prices. For fast and comfortable shopping, visit them at Ravina's at 17A Water Street or Anand's on 108 Regent Street, or call them on telephone number 225-6595. Now for tonight's question. I want to know, how do you feel about the magistrate's decision to uphold Gary Best's no-case submission? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good, we just might feature it in Monday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Until next time, I'm Noriko Bullford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha ha! Good night, folks. Hi, Uncut News viewers. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.